coming onto this job, these guys started this framing on this and they got too busy to do it, and we was able to juggle our schedule, so we kicked back a couple of our little smaller jobs and decided to just put this in it. So they already started on the framing and they did the back wall, a little bit of it. We're just going to finish it up. It's got some steps in it. It's got it's got 3 windows on that side, 3 windows on this side, and a 308-foot door and 2 12-foot doors, garage doors. So we're going to frame this, do a time lapse on it or something. We're about ready to stand this end truss up. We just did our fascia and our outriggers before we are going to put it up there. It's just a little bit easier to do it on the ground. It's an 8/12 pitch, so it's a little bit difficult to stand up there and nail all those in place, so we're going to do it. Heavy son of a gun. Gonna run a chain through that hole, through this other hole, and then we're gonna hook the strap onto the chain. It upped and snowed on our garage, about a foot deep. Got our skidder running, warming up. These trusses were too big to carry them on their trailer, so they chopped it off and did a little piggyback truss. So according to the plan, they're saying nail a splice on here, so we're putting a 4-foot splice on there. That's a 2x8 top cord and just a 2x4 piggyback truss, and overall it's like 12 feet tall from the bottom of the truss to the peak of it. So we just adding those on there. down, and then you just nail our outriggers on there like that. Works a lot easier if you have a way to lift it up there. So we're putting our fascia and our outriggers on at the same time. We got these holes cut in there to hook our chain on there. Right there we nailed that little block on there, so we can put it back in the hole when we're done. That's right on the edge of the vertical on the truss, so that the chain doesn't rip open the plywood. So that's a little quicker way to do it than doing all these up on the roof. We're using a piece of rim board instead of a 2x10 fascia. So we got, it's 9.5 inches wide. So instead of using a 2x10, it's just a lot straighter, easier to work with than putting a 2x10 on there. Okay, got our truss built, ready to stick it up in the air, put it up there. Got our chain ran through there. Our jib isn't quite tall enough to lift from the very top, so we ran it through like this, and we're going to be lifting it off that height, because our jib's kind of like a homemade little beater. So that's what we're using. We did well to hook on the end of it, so we can hook that chain. Couple of boards off on this side. We double sheeted this wall. Left a couple of boards off just so the inspector can see the beam, the header. Ended up nailing some boards about 2 feet apart on the top of the bigger truss. So it's just under the piggy truss. So all those are bracings. We did 3 angle braces on the gable. I don't know if you can see them or not, but 3 angle braces from the top of the gable down to the bottom here on both ends. This is an 8/12 pitch, so we just put a little block on the bottom to catch us so we wouldn't slide off. Just driving away from this job, we finished it up, got it all sheeted. Turned out pretty nice.